Hi, everybody. Um, it's been quite a while, a few months since I made a video, posted anything on YouTube. Um, if you started following me from just finding my channel, you might not know that I actually did 2 episodes on an amazing YouTube channel called Cults to Consciousness. If you've not heard of them somehow, you should definitely go check them out. It's an absolutely amazing YouTube channel, and the lady who runs it, Shalise Ansola, she is an ex-Mormon. She left Mormonism, and when she started deconstructing Mormonism, she ended up making a channel. She invites people, all different people from different high control religions and cults, on to talk about their experiences, what happened to them, how they left, and she has a really beautiful community over there. Um, I didn't I wasn't planning on doing that though. I had just made a comment in their comment section, and we ended up talking, and then I ended up going on the channel. It all happened very quickly, and I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to do that. I am so grateful to Shalise and the channel, and just it was definitely something I'm really glad that I did. But it ended up being emotionally it was very triggering. My previous videos, as I would, if you've watched them, you know that when it got kind of, as it started to get difficult for me, I would just stop, and then I would end the video, and then a few days later, a couple weeks later, I would come back and I would start up again. Um, but we ended up talking for about 2 hours, and it was a two-part episode, which is great, and I'm so glad that a large chunk of my story is out there. Um, and will always be. I'm so grateful for that, but I wasn't really prepared for the mental um I can't even think of a word. I honestly don't have the language to describe how I felt afterwards. I just kind of shut down. I actually don't remember like a week after I filmed it. That week, like the whole week after, it's just gone. Like it's yeah, I think I was pretty dissociated. In any case, it took me a while to regulate and kind of come back to myself, and then I really had to um sit with everything, because I was talking to a friend, and um she mentioned to me, or she said something to me that really hit me, and that's why I haven't made another video. I was talking about ex-Muslims and how I'm so glad that there's a whole community of ex-Muslims now, that we're talking, that we're addressing the problems in Islam, that we're talking about all the things that are normally hidden and that aren't talked about, and drawing awareness, and like really in this wanting to educate people. And I mentioned Islamic clergy abuse, and she said that I was the only ex-Muslim who is um, a survivor of Islamic clergy abuse, who's talking about it like from myself. Like, if you go online and you search, you can find anonymous stories, but they're all from people who are still Muslim. Um, if you look through Muslim Me Too, the whole hashtag Muslim Me Too, Mosque Me Too, sorry, it's not Muslim Me Too, it's Mosque Me Too, you'll find a lot of people posting about it anonymously. They're all still Muslim. Anyway, um, now I'm not saying that that's correct. It could be wrong. I went to look, try to find somebody else after she said that, and I couldn't. If you're watching this and you know of anybody else who's an ex-Muslim who also suffered Islamic clergy abuse and talks about it as an ex-Muslim, and you can point them to me, I would be forever grateful. I searched, I couldn't find anything, and then I just got really in my head about feeling like, oh my God, am I actually the only one that's doing this right now? Like, what does that mean? Is that a bigger responsibility than I am ready for. I mean, I'm the kind of person who does a 2 hour interview and then can't remember a week afterwards because it's so triggering. Like, am I really prepared to, to do this? And if I'm the only one doing it, then that means that if I do it, I can't quit doing it. And, I just really got in my head, and I really felt like this kind of a panic. I guess you could say I had a kind of panic, and I had to process that, and I had to really think about it. And um, eventually I came to today, and today I was watching um, the videos on Friendly Ex-Muslim's channel where him and his wife were talking about Mohammed Hijab and the misyar marriage that he did with the lady Aisha. And when I listened to her story, granted, it's not exactly the same as what happened to me, but if you haven't watched my stories, I told the story of what happened to me. But I'll give a quick recap here. Essentially, I was a minor. I was studying to be an Islamic scholar, and my teacher was an imam, a sayyid, because I come from a Shia background, and he essentially groomed me and my family, um, and then tricked me into doing a muta marriage with him because he said he needed to do it to not be sinning while he was teaching me. So he was just my teacher. It was no kind of relationship at all beyond that. I essentially, you could almost say I kind of worshipped him, which I know is a sin in Islam, but the amount of reverence I had for that man and respect and just absolute and total trust was, it's actually kind of sickening when I think about it now. Uh, so, and then as soon as he had the temporary marriage done, although he did not follow the proper rules to do it, but I was very young and I was very panicked, and it was very traumatic what was happening. And I wasn't the adult that I am now looking at it. I was a kid, and he was my teacher, and he was the person that was the most respected within my own family and the wider community. So yeah, I didn't really question it at the time. Um, but anyway, once he had it done, he was like, "You're my wife now. Wives don't get to say no." And he just started abusing me, and he abused me for a while, multiple times. Um, anyway, so as I'm watching, listening to this story, and people are starting to talk about what happened with Mohammed Hijab, who, by the way, not for nothing, I have never been a fan of Mohammed Hijab because he is a bully and he is probably a narcissist. I don't want to diagnose anybody, but as far as what I understand about narcissism, yeah, I agree with the people that say he's narcissistic. Um, and just watching that and hearing her story and being like, I'm so glad people are talking about this. I felt the need to jump on here and make a video, because even though what happened to me is different than what happened to her, there's enough similarities. Um, and I didn't jump on here to go over what happened to me again. I've already done that. If you're new here, you don't know, you can watch the videos. Obviously, there's more to it than everything I said in the video, but it's a base. I mean, it's pretty much like I pretty much told the whole story there. Um, so, what I wanted to talk about was um, the reaction of the community over the years. Once I tried to tell for the first time, not to my family already knew, but like once I wasn't practicing anymore, and I was already disowned, and I was living with this guilt of, I had this obsession. I grew this I grew I developed this obsession with um just watching and reading all the true crime you can imagine um about rapists and people who abuse their power and grooming and all that kind of stuff. And I was in kind of my own attempt to contextualize and understand what happened to me. And as I started to understand the patterns that these guys have, the people that do that kind of action, I understood that the grooming level that he used was very sophisticated, and it's highly unlikely that that would have been his first time. And once I realized that, I started thinking, like, okay, I've already been disowned. I'm not practicing. I'm out and I'm alive. And nobody knows where I am. And if he did do it before, that means he's going to do it again. And with the way that our communities are so insular and so isolated, and there's so much stigma and shame and pressure, and if you're a Muslim, I'm not saying this to offend you, and if you're an ex-Muslim, you know what I'm talking about, but there are areas that could be better in these ways when it comes to aib and shame and honor and all that kind of stuff, right? Especially when it comes to women. So I was thinking that I had this weight, and it felt like carrying around a skyscraper that had 2 feet and was like perched on my shoulder. And I don't mean that I mean that so literally, because it's the heaviest thing I've ever had to carry around with me. And and yeah, I'm not even going to get into that, but it was very difficult, and it took me down some really dark paths in my life. And the fact that I'm still here to make this video is a minor miracle, or maybe a major miracle, but I'm glad that I am. So the first time that I and this is crazy, and sometimes people say, like, oh, you're an ex-Muslim, like, what do you believe in, like, are you an atheist, or are you something else, whatever. And it's a hard question to answer, because I do believe in something, but I would consider myself an atheist because I don't believe in any type of religion, organized religion, Abrahamic religion, anything like that. And I don't believe in like a God specifically, but I do believe in something bigger than myself. And I refer to it as the universe. I experience it as a positive force, not a punishing or judging or anything force like that. And I experience it equally as applying to like myself and every other human in the world. Sorry, my cat is messing with my messing with my thing. Where was I? Yeah. So anyway, so sometimes I might, in my videos, I might talk about signs or something like that, and I don't mean it as like a from God or angels or religion or anything like that, but as what I would call like the universe. And it's a very vague kind of thing, and I'm not saying it's correct. I'm just saying it's what I personally believe. You don't have to believe it. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. I'm just explaining to you how I interpret the world. So anyway, at that time I had a Facebook, and sometimes I would, and this had been going on for years, I would start to get like headaches and really sleepy, and I just wouldn't feel right. And then within a couple of days of that, like say 2-3 days of that, I would see somebody would post on Facebook, and it would be him. And because he travels all over the place, he's always like, he'll go to Texas, and then he'll be in Arizona, then he'll be in Washington, then he'll be in London, then he'll be in, I mean, he's just constantly traveling, not just domestically, but internationally. So it would be somebody from some other place that I've never been to, Boston or whatever. And it would be like, oh, Sayyid such and such is going to be at such and such a Islamic center for such and such an event, or such and such a kids camp, or such and such a marriage matchmaking social, whatever. And at the time I was modeling, and so I was traveling a lot as well. And every time that this happened to me, it would always be I would always see, just randomly, I would always just see him. And it didn't happen that many times. I'm saying it was too many times, but it was maybe like 7 or 8 times over the course of, I don't know, 10 years. Right. So maybe like once a year or every other year this would happen. I'd be like, I would be in Boston, and then I would start not feeling well. And then I would see a post that he's about to arrive in Boston, or he had just left Boston, or Seattle, or whatever city it was. This kept happening and happening. And because of that, I started to develop a theory in my own head that I was kind of, I don't want to use the word destined because that sounds religious, but maybe meant to eventually. I felt like there was a connection there that wasn't cut. Like there was still some kind of like a cord or something that was like I was tied to this guy. And I felt like the reason for that was because I was meant to talk about what he did. And I didn't know anything more than that. I just had this feeling, right? I've had this feeling for years. And so the very first time, I was so scared of him. I was so scared of him that I didn't know how to do it. Like, and I used to spend hours just trying to think of how to do it. I thought I would have to go to like actually show up or something, and then I was just imagining like getting hurt, or disappeared, or like I didn't know what to do. And I eventually decided that I would create a fake email account and buy a burner phone, and that I would, the next time that it popped up like that, if he hadn't already left, like if he was going to a place and it wasn't like, oh, he just left this place, that I would contact them and I would tell them. And that's what I did. So the next time it happened, I contacted the mosque and I asked I Googled it and I saw who their like main imam was. I called them. I asked to talk to him. He got on the phone and I explained everything. And the way that this man shut me down, talked to me like I was subhuman, just like completely dismissed what I was saying and then hung up on me, shamed me. And I told him when I called, like I said, I'm scared to do this. I'm scared to do this. Like I'm terrified to do this, but I'm doing it. And the only reason I'm doing it, like I get nothing out of this. I don't want anything. I'm doing it because I want you to know, even if you still have him come, just put it out within the community. Just keep your kids away from him. And I didn't just mean his particular children. I meant the kids. Don't let the kids be alone with this guy. That's it. That was my only purpose. The only reason that I did it, that I've ever done it. The only reason I do this, well, the reason I do this is a little different. It's because I do hope that somehow, some way, other people, if he's done this to other people, will find my videos. But I also do this because because I know he's not the only one. Mohammed Hijabs not the only one. That what Wasif, whatever his name is, the guy that the FBI indicted, he's not the only one. Like, this is a big problem, as I said in the last video that I made, which, oh my God, I don't even want to go into that. Like the comments, some people feel comfortable saying to a stranger on the internet, and then also coming from people who claim to be from a religion of peace is, and it's not just me, it's all ex-Muslims, but I feel like because I talk about clergy abuse and because I'm a woman and I'm an unapologetic woman, that the flavor of it is just very, it's particular. It's particular. Let's just say that. So in any case, um, so for years I did this. I've done it probably 6 or 7 times. And mind you, this happened to me 27 years ago. So um, it was 27 years ago that he abused me. And in those 27 years, I have contacted, a handful of communities that he's either been at or um, been visiting or been doing, like, especially kids camps. He does kids camps all the time. And I have told them. And I actually, I don't do it anymore. I don't do it anymore. And the reason is because every single time that I did it, it got harder and harder to do it because I knew, like, and mind you, like, I'm neurodivergent, I have really good pattern recognition. Like, part of my autism is pattern recognition. Like, it's off the charts. Like, and and the pattern just never changed. It was like the predictability of knowing exactly what was going to happen and knowing that it was going to re-traumatize me all over again because I was going to get demeaned, talked down to, treated as subhuman, not believed, you know, like kicked out, shut down, just threatened, like not overt. Nobody ever overtly threatened me. It was an undertone, but it was clear. It was a clear. It was, and so when I see what Mohammed Hijab has done, and I see the way that he talked to her in those text messages, it is so reminiscent of just the tone that was taken with me when I've tried to tell communities. And in 2020, during COVID, because everything was over Zoom, right? Everything was over Zoom because of COVID. And so I saw that he was going to be doing a Zoom lecture with an Islamic center in Boston. And I'm not going to say the name of the Islamic center on this video, but I screen recorded this. And I'm not like a technological person. I'm old, okay? I'm old. So I'm not techie, but I screen recorded this and I have it in my phone. I have this screen recording in my phone. And eventually I will find a person who's techie and who can help me. And I'll do one of those videos where like I'm talking here and like I put something else in the video here so that you can see it. I don't know how to do that, but it's on. I wasn't sure if I was going to ever make another video again, if I'm being honest. But now that I decided and I just kind of like bit the bullet, I'm making this video and I just decided that come what may. Sorry guys, I'm really not feeling well today. I'm just, forgive my appearance, but I just needed to do this now or maybe not at all. So I lost my train of thought. Oh yes, so once I decided that, you know what, like I am gonna do this, and I really like mentally just said, like just worked myself through it. Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this, like even with the comments, even with the threats, even with the mental toll, like whatever it is, like I think it's important enough. And I, not only that, but I feel like I was meant to do this. um so yeah, then I'm gonna have to find somebody to help me because there's no world in which I learn how to do something like that. I'm not interested enough in tech stuff to be able to learn it. So I'm gonna have to find help. But when I find somebody to help me, I will make another video and I will play that screen recording that I have so that you can actually see it. But for now, I'm just going to tell you what happened. So he's giving a lecture. It's on Zoom. I join in. I create a fake username, like just totally made up. And he's there. He's talking, and my heart is pounding out of my chest because I could smell him. Like, not my imagination, I guess, or my memory, I don't know, like hearing his voice and seeing him, but knowing that like he was actually, like it was live and he was actually there and I was actually like, it was so it was it was awful. It was absolutely awful. And I was in the chat and I said everything, I said what he did to me. I told people to keep their kids away from him, and I was immediately kicked out of the meeting and blocked. The exact same thing. I mean, that's been happening to me when I've been trying to tell people in private, and I still have this mentality of like, keep it in the community. You don't want to make everybody look bad, right? I did that for years. I did that for 26 years. I tried to keep it in the community and not make anybody look bad. Not anymore. Those days are done. I would scream it from the fucking rooftops if I could. Well, I guess making videos and putting them on the internet is about as close as I can get. And I'm sorry, I am feeling a little angry right now because all of this stuff is gross and I wish I didn't have any of it inside me. I hate having to think about it. I hate having to talk about it. I hate having to make videos about it. And at the same time, I'm grateful that I have the privilege and I can, and I do it because of the girls who have gone through similar things, women who have gone through similar things and can't. But it's a mess, you know, and it's like it makes my head a mess, it makes me a mess, and I think that it always will. I think that it always will. Anyway, I'm kind of just going all over the place and I'm on a tangent, but yeah. So anyway, so when I heard Aisha's story and I heard that the ulama backed him up completely, it didn't surprise me one bit because that's what they've been doing to me for almost 30 years. And I was a minor. I was a child when that happened to me. You know, it didn't matter. It didn't matter to them at all. Because even though Muslims will say there's no child marriage in Islam, the only reason they say that is because they don't consider children to be children. They consider that children are adult women and therefore are okay to be married because Islamically they are. But we know now, we have medical reports, we have science, we've progressed past thinking that children are adults. I mean, just Google fistula. Just Google fistula. Enough said. Enough said. So anyway, I don't know. My low battery thing just popped on. And I don't know if that will affect the video. If it did, I'm sorry. That's what that was. I don't know how to edit videos. So, and I'm 27 minutes in, so I'm not going to re-record this. And if it didn't, then I'm just yammering about nothing, something that didn't even happen. See? Not techie. Anyway, yeah, so if you actually made it to the end of this, oh my God, please leave a comment and tell me you made it to the end because I just assume that people watch like 30 seconds of my videos and then quit them. But yeah, so anyway, that's what I wanted to say. This problem is nothing new. I know that people are talking about it right now, but you know, this happened to me 27 years ago. This culture of silence has been going on. I'm so glad that people are finally talking about it, but from everything that I've experienced, I honestly can't really imagine it changing. I hope it does though, and if I can be, I don't know, a teeny tiny drop in that bucket of change, then it's worth all the difficulties that come along with doing this and whatever else it is that I can do to try and make sure that other women and girls don't suffer at the hands of these diabolical, entitled, conniving, snake oil religious leaders. And yeah, that's the end of that. So I salute Aisha for her bravery in coming forward. And if you see a comment section or something where she's getting attacked from somebody that a very similar thing happened to, I knew immediately that she wasn't lying, even before the text messages came out. So, you know, jump in there and say something nice because real people are behind things. And I mean, I've learned not to read my comments anymore, but, you know, it can really mess with somebody's head, just that abuse after you've already been abused. So, yeah, I'm going to sign off and hopefully I'll be making more videos soon. But I just wanted to add my 2 cents as somebody who's been through the cover up portion of the dark side of the dawah scene or the clergy scene or the imam scene, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same. And they protect each other. I'm out.